Morning, I am Day. DAA are my initials. Walk with me on the recovery journey of hope, renewal, resilience, and self reflection. With these daily affirmations, reflections, devotions, and meditations brought to you by DHB, Devotion, Health, and Beauty Recovery Network. Fair use. Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. April 9th. Freedom from King Alcohol. Let us not suppose, even for an instant, that we are not under constraint. Our former tyrant, King Alcohol, always stands ready again to clutch us to him. Therefore, freedom from alcohol is the great must that has to be achieved, else we go mad or die. As Bill sees it, page 134. When drinking, I lived in spiritual, emotional, and sometimes physical confinement. I had constructed my prison with bars of self will and self indulgence, from which I could not escape. Occasionally, dry spells that seemed to promise freedom would turn out to be little more than hopes of a reprieve. True escape required a willingness to follow whatever right actions were needed to turn the lock. With that willingness and action, both the lock and the bars themselves opened for me. Continued willingness and action keep me free in a kind of extended daily probation that need never end. Courage to Change One Day at a Time in Al Anon, April 9th. After years of denying my feelings in order to protect myself, detachment, emotionally separating myself from the disease of alcoholism was fairly easy for me. But it was with indifference. Detachment with love was out of the question. A major change of attitude began when my sponsor repeated a line from a play that had helped her understand the need to detach with love. The worst sin toward our fellow creatures is not to hate them, but to be indifferent to them. I realized that by detaching with indifference, I might be taking the easy way out. In Al Anon, I've come to feel safe enough to feel my feelings. I no longer need to shut out the love I feel for myself or for the alcoholic in my life. I can see myself as more than my feelings, and I can see the alcoholic as more than his or her disease. Today's reminder: the unconditional love I receive in Al Anon helps me to rediscover what love is. As I learn that I am consistently lovable, regardless of my strengths or limitations, I begin to see something consistently lovable in others, even those who suffer from an unlovable disease. There is a quote, and it reads, "With a change of attitude, past actions can be put into proper perspective. Love and respect can become a part of family life." The quote comes for youth and the alcoholic parent. Just for today, daily meditations for recovering addicts. April 9th. Acting out. We learn to experience feelings and realize they can do us no harm unless we act on them. IP number 16 for the newcomer. Many of us came to Narcotics Anonymous with something less than an overwhelming desire to stop using. Sure, the drugs were causing us problems, and we wanted to be rid of the problems, but we didn't want to stop getting high. Eventually, though, we saw that we couldn't have one without the other. Even though we really wanted to get loaded, we didn't use. We weren't willing to pay the price anymore. The longer we stayed clean and worked the program, the more freedom we experienced. Sooner or later, the compulsion to use was lifted from us completely, and we stayed clean because we wanted to live clean. The same principles apply to other negative impulses that may plague us. We may feel like doing something destructive just because we want to. We've done it before, and sometimes we think we've gotten away with it, but sometimes we haven't. If we're not willing to pay the price for acting on such feelings, we don't have to act on them. It may be hard, maybe even as hard as it was to stay clean in the beginning, but others have felt the same way and have found the freedom not to act on their negative impulses. By sharing about it and seeking the help of other recovering people and a power greater than ourselves, we can find the direction, the support, and the strength we need to abstain from any destructive compulsion. Just for today, it's okay to feel my feelings. With the help of my sponsor, my NA friends, and my higher power, I am free not to act out my negative feelings. Today, Emotions Anonymous, April 9th. Reflection for today. The word surrender was never a part of my vocabulary. It meant weakness or quitting or being cowardly. It frightened me when I heard people at meetings say, "You have to surrender." I had to unlearn what had been instilled in me since childhood. I had to get rid of that old never give up adage. That was so much a part of my life. It was extremely difficult to change that part of my background, but what a relief to not have to be responsible for the whole world and all its inhabitants anymore. What a great comfort to be able to let go. Meditation for today. Help me to surrender my whole being to you daily. Today I will remember surrender is serenity. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. April 9th. Hypervigilance. Most ACA members have some form of PTSD, which is often expressed in our hypervigilance of our surroundings or our acute monitoring of comments or actions of others. This behavior is a carryover from growing up on guard much of the time. BRB, page 160. In recovery, many of us become very aware of how we feel strong emotional and physical triggers by certain things, and we don't always know why. Through our discovery process, we find the underlying trauma that causes the state of hypervigilance. The strong, deep emotions that surface may overwhelm us like a raging sea. To soothe ourselves, we learn to lie under warm blankets, drink hot tea, and take long baths. We activate our inner loving parent, doing whatever it takes to honor our hurt inner child. Our motto has become, "I will take care of me first." We dialogue with the wounded parts of ourselves that need love. At first, our inner child may seem to scream with rage. "Where were you all these years? How do I know you won't abandon me like everyone else?" But we have the courage to listen to this wounded part, no matter what the cost. We let go of abusive relationships and rearrange our lives to give ourselves more space for healing. We know we are worth it. The affirmation reads, "On this day, I put myself first. When I am in a PTSD tunnel, I will not minimize it to look good for others while I am suffering inside." Remember to be the you that you are created to be, one day at a time, and that you are not alone.